That was so legit. And we are back for another episode of All My Friends, your new favorite podcast about all music all the time. That was pretty good.
That was good, but it's not your new favorite podcast because we're on episode 5.
This is it, folks.
So this has been your favorite podcast for 4 episodes.
Yep, four episodes so far. This is episode 5. We were recording this a few days before, but we have moved, folks. We've officially moved to Mondays because we want to cure the Monday blues.
True.
Right? Is that why we moved?
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
A little bit easier, starting off the week with a nice little companion conversation with your favorite artist.
Exactly.
Favorite friends.
We figure also with all the music being released on Fridays, the last thing you want to do is listen to two guys talk about music when you could actually be listening to new music. So we've officially moved the podcast to come out Monday mornings, hopefully on a weekly basis, pending how much content we can actually get. But it's looking pretty good so far, I would say. Right, Al?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely going to be weekly for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully.
That should continue that way. Yeah, exactly. Everybody knock on wood for us.
Knock on wood. Unless you're driving, then keep your hands on the wheel. But before we get into our interview, actually, let's talk about the interview real quick, Al, because we had, I think, unarguably the best interview we've had to date. Like, you can't even argue it. It was the best one we've ever had.
Yeah.
Why is that?
The artists were amazing.
True.
They carried the team for us.
Who'd we interview?
We had Diet Cig. By we, I mean you.
Yep.
As you may have heard on the last episode, my back may have given out a little bit.
He's 85.
Hey, it's my half birthday soon, so 85 and a half almost.
Workplace injury. Alan picked up a small weight while doing CrossFit. I told you all. Alan started doing CrossFit. Next thing we know, I'm doing interviews alone. So it can all go downhill if you start doing CrossFit and brag about it.
Yeah, I never bragged about it at all. Never even mentioned it.
That's all you talk about.
And luckily, Diet Cig was amazing. And really, they kind of, made up for the fact that the star of the podcast wasn't there.
I think it's very obvious that while you have thrown out your back, the only reason why my back hurts is because I've been carrying the team specifically for that interview. We interviewed, as Alan said, Diet Cig, which is an awesome indie rock, pop punk, DIY, whatever you want to call them, two-piece band from the East Coast. They were super fun. We could have talked for hours and hours and hours.
But I wasn't there, so they didn't.
But Alan wasn't there, so...
If you find the podcast a little bit short, it's probably because they told Evan they had to leave, but they probably had free time.
Anyways, Alan, I'm going to be professional and move on. They were fantastic. But before we get to the interview, we've got a couple segments for y'all. We have, of course, starting us off with This Week in Music. It's been a big week in music, Alan.
Yeah, it has been, actually.
Big.
We got some big headlines.
Yeah. What's like the first big one that we were really thinking on?
I think one of the first ones we were actually really happy to read this. Mm-hmm. The Black Panther album, put out by TDE, went to number 1 on Billboard.
Number 1. A movie soundtrack, which probably happens sometimes, but this movie just feels like it has so much power and there's so much purpose for it to be out right now.
Yeah.
That it's really cool to see the soundtrack, which was mostly curated by TDE artists, specifically Kendrick, Lamar, and SZA, see it be number 1. That's awesome. Yeah. So
it was great. Just as a quick aside, Evan watched a movie last night.
I did see the movie.
Ev, give us our 30-second recap or review of the movie.
Okay. It's really good. I'm not a huge superhero movie kind of guy just because it all just seems like explosions and stuff. But this one was tight. I don't remember a single character's name except Black Panther. Also, him as a superhero, I have to read the comic books about it because or read into it because I don't know what his powers actually are other than this really badass suit. But the suit essentially seems invincible. It seems
does the suit give him powers, or does he already have them?
That's what it sounds like. But okay. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. I also, we went and saw it, and it was a sold out theater.
And that was 30 seconds.
Night.
Thank you. This is a music podcast.
Hold on, this is gonna be funny. Not funny. It'll be entertaining. Sold out theater, and of course, of the whole theater, I'm sitting in the front row on the absolute far right hand side, so I couldn't see anything for half the movie or the majority of the movie. I could only see half the screen. Everything was huge heads, and it was. Anyways, that wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be.
So that was the Black Panther review.
Go see it. Buy the album. Support this really awesome project. Moving on to not as great of a musical endeavor of the last week. Oh, our sweet friend, soon to be friend of the pod once we get her on.
Soon to be.
Fergie of the Black Eyed Peas sang probably the worst rendition of the national anthem at the NBA All-Star game that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I have seen a worse national anthem sung by a professional artist.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, yes, a lot of people would sing worse than her.
It's true. Us included.
Definitely to be taken into account. But we're also not exactly professional singers and not our job to do that.
I don't know if Fergie's even a professional singer anymore. No offense to Fergie, but it was one of those things that was also like, when I first saw the headline, because I didn't even watch, we're both big basketball guys, but we don't watch the All-Star game because it's kind of a thing that if you really love basketball, it's no fun. Anyways, but it was one of those things. It was like, wow, how the mighty have fallen. When the NBA All-Star game, the best singer that they could get
was Fergie.
Is Fergie?
Yeah,
she's not even a part of the Black Eyed Peas anymore, according to their Wikipedia page, which is obviously accurate.
Quick power rank all Black Eyed Peas.
Ooh, I'm gonna go.
But before that, how many Black Eyed Peas members are there?
4.
Including all present, past.
Including all 6.
Keep going.
8?
8.
What?
Now, name the 4 that we know.
Okay.
That most people probably would recognize or know.
will.i.am, Taboo, Fergie, and then the guy that I can't pronounce. Apple Dap?
Yep. Okay. In case you were wondering, from 1995...
95.
We had Dante Santiago, who did vocals. Okay. We had DJ Motivate.
Ooh.
From 95 to 2000, we had Kim Hill, backing vocals.
There's another lady?
And Sierra Swan did vocals from 98 to 2000. Yep.
Like the Sierra?
I have no idea who these people are.
Russell Wilson, Sierra. Or, excuse me,
Ciara.
wife. Is it Ciara?
Yeah.
Ciara's got some hits, though, so I can't hate. Yeah. I'll power rank the 4, though. I'm going to go at the bottom, Apple Depp, just because I can't say his name. Fergie got some bangers. Also on her own, Fergie's got some bangers. Big Girls Don't Cry. That's a smash. Then I'm going to go... No, I'm going to go will.i.am, number 2, because I don't want to put him in number 1. That just seems too obvious. And I'm going to go my guy, Taboo.
Taboo, number 1.
Long-haired guy. He always looked like the sensei of the group.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna power rank.
Alan didn't even know the name. Alan didn't even know that there was 4 of them when we started this interview.
Yeah, there was 8.
Yeah, but you didn't even know that.
You didn't. Okay, just because I can't pronounce the name
Alan's
either.
A fake Black Eyed Peas fan.
I'm also gonna have to put Apple the app last.
Butchering that name.
Taboo is probably 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Fergie she was first. She slid to 2nd after the latest incident.
That's true.
But will.i.am somehow number 1.
Generic. Real unique choice there, Al.
Thanks.
That was good. Next up, in music, this is a great headline, and I actually am super glad that we found this. Barack Obama is apparently the most name-dropped president in all of music. We'll let that sit for a little bit.
Yeah.
Wow. It's pretty cool.
It is cool.
I wish we had like a big... Never mind.
We'll put a sound effect in there.
Yeah, okay, good.
Perfect.
For the excitement of it. It's tight. I mean, because obviously there's a lot of, and there was a ton of hip-hop records coming out when he was
president.
Campaigning, when he became president. I mean, Young Jeezy had a full song, My President's Black, which is awesome. I always loved that song. But why are we not shouting out Lincoln? Abraham Lincoln could be, he ended slavery. So.
Wasn't he also not that good of a guy, though?
I don't know.
I feel like that's what we all find out about the presidents years later.
Yeah.
So
not Barack, though.
No. Barack's the only one. That's why. He deserves to be the
Wait a minute.
In a good way, too. Because Trump, I know a few songs that have name-dropped him.
I was going to say.
They usually come with a fuck word first.
Yeah. I'm a little worried that in 4 years, Trump's going to surpass Barack for the most name-dropped.
Yeah, but as long as there's an F word or something nearby, we're good.
Screw you.
That doesn't count.
Hey, Donald, I know that you're an avid listener of the podcast, All My Friends.
He's not a friend, FYI.
Hey, buzz off. Not a friend of ours.
And lastly, another nice headline to read was Robin hinting at a new album. scale 1 to 10, how excited are you for a new
10.
Robin album?
And I'll tell you why. Because
Why?
Robin, really in my mind, is known for 2 songs: "Call Your Boyfriend." I'm saying that right? And "Dancing on My Own."
Yep.
Now, the "Dancing on My Own" video is one of the greatest music videos of all time, simply because it literally is her just dancing through like a airplane hangar all by herself, and it's like one of the best songs to ever play at a club or something like that, because you really just like you let loose and start vibing. You can't see me right now, but I'm vibing alone.
You're glad you can't see him.
Yeah, and call your girlfriend. That's why can't I get that name right? Anyways, she's essentially known in my mind for 2 songs that came out years and years and years ago, but they're still relevant songs that I love every time.
Yeah, I'm
So I'm
hoping
hyped. You're stoked?
It comes with bangers.
Yeah,
I'm excited, but I'm reserved. I always get nervous.
yeah, it's a lot. It'll be a lot of hype. Anyways, it was confirmed, or this was revealed because someone asked her on Twitter, "When's next album?" or "When can I expect an album?" She said, like, "Don't worry, honey, it's coming this year."
Yeah.
First off, if Robin tweets you and calls you honey, you're good for the year. Secondly, it's just cool that this is how we figured it out, and now it's like all over Pitchfork and some of these bigger publications.
Yeah.
Next up, we got a new segment for you because he is one of our favorite artists, right? We can say this.
Oh, absolutely.
Mr. Kanye West. Because he's one of our favorite artists, we want to see more of Kanye because he's such an elusive, secretive guy.
He's been recluse.
We are launching a new segment called Kanye Sighting, which is basically where we talk about a recent sighting of Kanye West. Pretty
We
straightforward.
give people a little update.
Exactly, because if you're wondering where Chicago's very own has been, we're going to fill you in. So this past weekend at the NBA All-Star Weekend, Kid Cudi had an outdoor concert in Los Angeles, and who showed up?
None other than Pablo.
The life
Kanye.
of Pablo, my guy, Mr. West.
Mr. West.
Mr. West. He is looking full on dad mode.
Okay.
And I know that you think it's a fashionable look, but Kanye's a fashionable dude, and this was not fashionable. He had like a crew neck
except
on.
he always wore the crew neck. The only
But
thing
it's
that was
usually-
different, it was his shorts. Why?
did
Because
have some
it's LA and it's hot and he's in a concert.
Yeah, but Kanye, true fashionista, would never. He would wear pants. He doesn't care about heat. Like he's not going for
Next
comfort.
week, you're going to see a new line of Yeezys that includes shorts, and you're going to be like, oh, look at that. That looks familiar.
Hey, everybody, here's a little hint for you. Here's a little tip. If you want Yeezys, Amazon, $20. Same things. I got them, and I walked through stores, and real sneakerheads turned their heads, and they're like, "What? Are those Yeezys?" And I'm like, "No, they're not. They were $20."
Yeah, because they were like, what are those?
Yeah,
Those are
order
not. They look like slippers.
Well, it was good to see Kanye, even if he is looking like a dad, come out on stage and do something because he is the GOAT. Next up, a segment that was welcomed with rave reviews. This segment being called "That's Cool."
Yeah.
That's cool.
So,
where we read some of the probably less memorable lines of the past week or so.
Yeah.
And
This headline was pretty good. I saw it on Pitchfork, The Fader,
big publication.
and Billboard. All three.
All three
had
decided that this was
big,
newsworthy.
Big headline. Bon Iver's manager is running for Congress in Wisconsin. That's cool.
Wow. That's real cool. Now, I will say, hold on, as a fellow Midwestern, I'm okay with that because I always appreciate how locally focused Bon Iver and that whole team is. That being said, what does that have to do with music in the last week? Nothing.
I have no idea.
It's his manager. He's running for Congress in Wisconsin. Anyways, that's cool.
But anyone in Wisconsin, I don't exactly know where he's running, but, if he's a good guy, vote for him.
You should. And actually, stay tuned in the next couple of weeks for an interview with a real-life Wisconsinite.
Oh, yeah.
So
Bon Iver?
Foreshadowing. Could be Bon Iver. Could be another famous Wisconsin musician.
Yeah.
But, we'll let you decide. Find out for yourself, excuse me.
What was another headline you found, Ev?
It is the year 2018, folks, and Aaron Carter drops an album. Whoa.
That silence
That is cool.
was for Diplo Banger.
It was Aaron Carter apparently loves the word love so much that he not only named his album Love, he also put it out on Valentine's Day And he apparently now has a giant tattoo on his neck that says love. Talk about a guy who just loves to love, you know?
Yeah, he's just committed to love.
2018, love is love, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly the way I guess.
I'm really, really glad we found out that Aaron Carter still loves love.
You know what? I think that Aaron Carter could still be a big deal if he
What?
I think he could. I really think
Stop.
he could. I think if Aaron Carter replaced Justin Bieber on that Diplo and Skrillex song, Where Are You Now? Or even Sorry, I think they'd be all right.
Nope.
Yeah, I think so.
First off, song wouldn't be as good.
True. True.
Second of all,
we're
people wouldn't
JB
listen
fans.
to it.
We're
Could
JB
be like,
fans.
oh, that's
Aaron
who?
Carter's looking all right, by the way. You guys should Google some pictures of him. He's not looking bad for a guy who's probably had his ups and downs. Anyways,
Wow, that got dark.
The final segment before
a
we
new
get to the
favorite.
interview, a new one. This is a good one.
is
Alan,
a
why don't
good
you
one.
introduce this one?
All right. Well, as all of you know, we here welcome all musicians that come on as our friends.
Best
and what do
friends.
friends do to look out for each other?
Hook each other up.
Hook each other up. So we're looking at sponsors for all our friends. Now you might be thinking, trying to get sponsors for yourselves. No. We are coming up with ideas for sponsorships for all the artists out there.
All of you.
All
It'll
of
make
you.
sense once we get into it if
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're confused.
So, Evan, why don't you start us off with a nice sponsorship for one of our friends?
I think that Drake should be sponsored. He should have his concert sponsored by Charmin Ultra because Drake is notoriously soft and Charmin Ultra is ultra soft. And when he gets all emotional and stuff, Drake should really have that Charmin Ultra logo somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe even just the Charmin Ultra presents Drake live in concert, like the full tour.
Yeah, absolutely.
In all the bathroom stalls, Charmin Ultra only.
Yeah. Girls are crying, guys are crying. What do you have?
Charmin Ultra at every seat.
Yep.
Also, you're provided with a Charmin Ultra roll of toilet paper, so you go TP your ex after the show.
Exactly.
Because that's what Drake's all about, baby.
There you go.
Alan, what do you got?
TI-84 calculators should present the Ed Sheeran tour.
Ooh.
All his albums, full-length albums, are mathematical symbols.
Yeah.
Latest, divide.
Yep.
Before that was plus. Before that, or X, multiply. I don't know
We'll go
what it was
multiply.
called.
We'll go
X.
multiply.
Yeah.
Might have
so
been 10. Who cares?
Whatever it was.
Maybe I have a feeling like Ed Sheeran was one of those kids that was pulled out of school at a young age, so he's literally going through math right now, and he just got to divide. So next will
that
be
is, yeah.
right. Next will be
Like square root, maybe.
Yep, algebra, just like 1x plus 2 equals, and that's the next title.
See,
of
that's the
Ed
good
Sheeran
thing.
album.
TI-84 calculator, got him.
It does
It
it
can
all.
do graphing. It can do most
And there's
things.
games on it. You can play
Exactly.
Blockman. Good game.
Everyone shows up to the concert, comes with a calculator.
Yep. Next up, I think that ibuprofen should sponsor T-Pain because he's always in pain.
Absolutely.
It's pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
And I have a feeling like T-Pain's a fun enough guy that he would get on board with it. And he probably is one of those guys that when he's mildly hungover, he takes 5 ibuprofens. And that's the only way that he can really get better. T-Pain just kind of seemed like a weak guy when it comes to hangovers.
Ooh.
I mean, no offense to T-Pain. I'm sure he parties, but
Shots
the
fired.
old boot and rally, you know?
This is a little bit of a simpler one. Just play on words. I think Bob the Builder should present Tyler the Creator.
Ooh. And Build a Bear.
And Build-A-Bear.
Build a Bear
There we
station in
go.
the back of a
That's what
Tyler
we
the
were
Creator
doing.
concert. That would be tight. And a lot of Tyler the Creator fans would probably be into that.
Yeah.
Another kind of straightforward one. The Witness Protection Program should sponsor The Killers, the band, because they're basically all admitting to be murderers. So, we want
So why are they being protected? It should be like the FBI or something.
the police.
Police. There you
Police will sponsor The Killers.
go. Ooh, the band The Police opens for them and presents for the Killers.
Dude, we're doing the Lord's work here. This is the best interview that we've had, episode that we've had.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite ones. Adult coloring books should present the limited edition of Chance the Rapper's color book vinyl.
Ooh.
You buy a vinyl, get the limited edition. What does it come with? An adult coloring book.
That might
along
already
with
be
the
a thing.
album coloring book.
That might already be a thing.
Probably because I gave the idea to the merch and they already put it out. You're welcome.
At the last show, you were like,
I will take my 10% off the top.
10, dude. Be more than that. Come on, you gave him that idea.
Dude, you know, come on.
pretty good.
How many is he selling? Also, he
Chance-
puts out his
Chance
music
to
for
do it.
free. Come on.
That's true. He does. So yeah, Chance the Rapper is looking for more revenue streams.
That's why I'm only taking 10, helping him out. We're friends.
Chance the Rapper. Last one I got. Travis Scott should be sponsored by Ricola a throat lozenge company because he's always yelling in the mic, screaming. That's how he gets that really distorted auto-tune effect. Yeah. He also just seems like every time I've seen videos of him live, he's just screaming. It's kind of what he does. Yeah.
Well, my last one hopefully goes over well.
I'm worried about
the Lord should sponsor Lord.
Ooh, get religious.
Yeah.
Lord should become a Christian singer. Maybe she was.
Could be.
Maybe she is. I've had this bad thing happen. No, I shouldn't use the word bad. I've had this odd thing happen the last couple Fridays when I sign on to Spotify to listen to new music. I usually pick an album based on like how cool the album artwork looks. And I've had this thing happen where I get halfway through an album and I'm like, damn it, this is Christian rock. Like, how did I not figure out that this is really religious, like indie rock? And then I hear the phrase like show me your light, like guide me or something like that. And I'm like, well, I'm not listening to the rest of this album. What am I going to get in a Christian rock scene? Come on, no offense to Christian rock people, but
wow. So you're just getting rid of a whole genre. Okay.
Yeah, it's a really cheesy genre to me. No offense, anyway. We're down. Switch. What was that? Switchfoot. Switchfoot's a Christian rock band.
Yeah.
Anyways,
They have good music.
Yeah. Do they?
Yeah, I don't know. They could.
That'd be great.
Anywho, bringing it back, this week's episode was really good from an artist perspective.
Best interview ever.
But okay at best from Evan's perspective.
I really put the team on my back. But for real, Diet Cig was who I sat down and chatted with. They were awesome. They're a band that has been on the rise the last 2 or 3 years or so, yeah. Really growing in size and just fan base, and they've maintained the same personality and integrity the entire time, which is cool.
Yeah.
And I know that Alex and Noah will always be who they are, and that's what's great about them as a band. Very likable, very, very likable.
Evan got to talk to them a little bit about the DIY scene, touring, trying to stay healthy on tour and stuff.
What they like to do. They're big drivers, dines, and dine. What is it? 3 Ds.
Yeah.
It's so bad. We talked about this with them. And Alex in the band is a huge Guy Fieri fan, so we get to talk about that.
And just probably the biggest thing that came up out of this interview.
Huge.
They may believe in a big conspiracy theory. Folks, we have Avril Lavigne believers.
Believers on.
Not only did they know it, they
believed
in it.
They were fully aware of our Avril Lavigne, the Avril Lavigne dead or alive theory that we talk about with nearly every single artist that's on the podcast.
Yep.
They were all about it and down to chat about it. So wait until the end to hear their thoughts on the Avril Lavigne conspiracy theory. For now, here's Diet Cig. Love you. Undisclosed location in Seattle, Washington, with 2 very special guests on the pod today. We have Alex and Noah of Diet Cig.
Hey, hi.
How's it going?
It's good. We're in Seattle.
Good. Welcome to Seattle. Yeah, it's a little cold here, but
honestly,
not
this
bad.
is warm compared to where we've been. Like,
what's been the coldest?
Toronto was.
It's like
it was
negative
snowing and it was cold. It
something.
was just like you couldn't stand outside for more than like a minute without your hands like going numb. It was
Really?
It was brutal. Those loadouts and load-ins were brutal.
And we just got a trailer, and
Yeah.
like for the first time, and like trying to do the locks on the trailer with like gloves on or frozen hands.
Freeze.
It was like it
Yeah.
was a mess. So this is like honestly,
This is kind of nice. I'm in like
Paradise.
a hoodie and like I'm not wearing long johns right now. It's great.
No long johns is a good sign, I guess. That's good. Well, first question, we always got to start with the most important question. What is the difference in calories between a Diet Cig and a regular Cig?
There are 0 calories in a Diet Cig.
0 calories?
Zippo.
Yep.
Is there, what about a regular Cig?
I don't know. Ask Marlboro.
I don't know.
I don't
We
keep
don't
track
really
of them.
smoke.
They are a competition. No,
They're a competition,
Do
yeah.
cigarettes have calories? Is the question.
don't know if they do.
I would like an answer too.
I can look them up.
We could Google that
can
pretty
Google
quickly,
it,
but
yeah.
we don't have time for that. So that's,
No.
Well,
that's good.
Hey, listeners at home, Google that shit. Get back to us.
Tweet us.
So what, but to my knowledge, there's no meaning behind the name, right?
No.
No.
There is
I
not.
wish there was
I
like a
know.
funny
No, it's a
story
great
and
band
stuff.
name,
Like
No.
literally, like the only reason why we have it is we had booked for a show before we realized we needed a name, and then like we had to put something on the flyer. And
How'd you get booked for a show before you had a name?
well, I was playing in
We're-
a different band,
Yeah.
and like
Earl Boykins?
Earl Boykins, yeah. And
Shout out
we
Earl
had a
Boykins.
show, and we needed someone to open up, and we were like, oh, we have a couple songs. Why don't we just do it? Then we realized like, oh shit, we got to come up with a name, and then we just kind of threw that out, and
It's good.
it stuck.
I like to say that we are addictive but not bad for you.
Ooh.
That's like my.
That was when you
My,
came up with
my
that,
radio
That's
answer.
pretty good. That's pretty good. Because it is one of those. It's also one of those names that you could like find like a survey online. That's like the first letter of your first name is this number and that means diet, and then
Yeah.
your childhood street address is like Cig. You
Yeah.
know, like
Sig Avenue.
yeah,
Sig
Sig
Ave.
Ave.
My
That was the
home
name of my
street.
first fish, Sig.
Well, the band was formed in New York, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
correct.
And you, Alex, you're a big Guy Fieri fan.
I love
Fieri.
Because
it.
everyone, I'm sure this comes up in nearly every interview, but
Not enough, honestly.
right? Have you ever been to the Guy Fieri themed restaurant in?
Okay, I have not.
You've heard about it though.
I know all about it. Every time a friend or an acquaintance's cousin goes, I feel like I'm notified.
I'm sure.
So I
That's
know
what
all
happens when
about
you
it.
have the Guy Fieri fan label.
I know. I've never been there. I really I don't have a huge desire to actually go to that themed restaurant. I really want to go to like Tex Wasabi's, which is like his own
His.
actual restaurant in like
Yes.
Santa Monica or Santa Rosa, I think, or
Sounds like
something.
a, sounds like a
SoCal.
spot.
But no, I feel like if I went to the one in New York, I would be like really
Didn't
disappointed.
it just close down though? Isn't
heard
there,
it's like-
Did it?
rumor
Oh, it
just got-
closed.
No.
Didn't something
What?
come up? Or maybe it was an Onion article or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I thought there was like the bar that's like themed, and they opened like in the last year or so.
The one that he runs, or like
No,
it's-
there's like a themed Guy Fieri bar.
What?
I swear, I have a friend
That's
that
one I
covered the
wanna go
opening
to.
of it, and there was like 200 fans like with visors.
Oh,
and,
is
like,
it
the fake-
FieriCon?
I don't know about that.
FieriCon.
Is that a thing though?
Because you know how there's
Whoa.
SantaCon in New
There's-
York?
Yeah, and yeah.
They have FieriCon, and now it's everyone dresses up like him. I swear to God, my phone was blown up so hard. Everyone's like, "Are you going to this?" And I'm like, "No, I live in Virginia now."
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would love to participate in every Guy Fieri themed
You could do
everything.
it. You
honestly.
She has a
I have the
bathing
hat.
suit with his face on it. We have the hat with the spiky
Yeah?
names. Like we're halfway there.
So,
know.
but you genuinely it's not like it's not a super ironic right?
No, I think it's partially ironic in the way that I enjoy like how goofy he is,
Yeah.
and like I like the memes and I like making fun of him, but I also like genuinely like him. Like we watch his show all the time. Like I think he's a good dude. I don't know that much about him outside of like his shows, but like I don't know, like he was like making food for the wildfires in California and like fed like thousands of people like on site during the wildfires for free, and like
Sweet.
I don't know, he seems cool, and I don't know, I like him.
Yeah, anytime we get to a hotel, we're always like, just put the
Drop
network
it.
on. It's always on.
Triple Ds?
Yeah, it's either that or like Top Chef, but it's usually
Oh,
Triple
yeah.
D
But
or
like
Triple G.
literally,
Yeah.
like his whole entire like thing is going to places and like helping businesses, like small businesses thrive and like boosting their exposure, and like just like he's so nice. He's not like condescending to them because he could be. He's like a celebrity,
Yeah.
but he's just like really nice and cool. He's like the opposite of like Gordon Ramsay Kitchen Nightmares.
Yeah.
He's like comes in and just is like, "You're doing great."
Yeah. We
Keep
actually have a
doing
drinking
it."
game to it though.
Yeah,
Because the
we
marathon
do.
goes to the
Triple
Triple
D.
D.
Yeah.
Is anytime the word tender is said,
Tender.
you take a drink.
Yeah.
Or a shot, depending on how crazy
get
you want
real
to get.
drunk.
But
You'd get in
you
some barbecue
realize that-
spots and you'd
oh
be
yeah,
messed.
When you,
You
get,
get
the
the
meat, like
the
the
marathon?
Oh my gosh.
It's always on like 2 a.m. when we get to the hotels.
Yeah,
and
it's like if he says it, you drink once, but if someone like that they interview says it, you drink twice, kind of a thing. Like
if
that
you
word
think
gets
they're
thrown a
gonna
lot.
say it about the barbecue, but then they say it about like a vegetable, you finish your drink. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
it's
time where like
crazy.
this broccoli
Yeah.
is so
Okay,
tender.
yeah, I was gonna
It's like
say,
there's
that could
a brisket right there.
So
the
this is-
broccoli's
Yeah,
tender.
yeah.
So this is it, folks. If you think that the rock star lifestyle is out partying at some crazy clubs and stuff, no. 2 a.m. You'll find Diet Cig
In front of the
rocking some
TV.
Triple D's, taking
Crushing
shots.
cold ones.
Yeah, exactly, crushing cold ones to the word tender.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. I heard that y'all have had a cooking show like played on stage in between sets once.
Oh my God, we had tiny food.
Oh yeah, where
In
was
between
that?
sets?
That was
It was during,
That was
the,
during the
set,
set.
and
Oh,
it was
during like just
where was
projected
that?
visuals in the
yeah,
back?
it was at some college. They were
college
like,
show, yeah.
"What do you want projected behind you? We can put your logo." And we're like, "Can you get YouTube?"
and just rock
And
like a
we,
just this like tiny food
we
cooking
looked up,
video
have
behind
you
us.
seen
It
those
was pretty
tiny cooking
funny.
videos where it's like miniature.
small versions of it.
Yeah,
That's pretty great.
It was
It
cool.
was
I kind
so
of got
awesome.
caught just like looking over my
Distracting.
shoulder the whole time watching it, but it was cool.
This has been the biggest revelation of doing this podcast is the amount of artists that we've interviewed that have this really big love for cooking shows. K-Flay we had on, and she was like, it's the most relaxing thing.
Yes.
During on tour or like while I'm in the hotel, I have nothing else to do, and like this is the one thing that I can just
Watching Guy Fieri be enthusiastic as people like pour little ramekins of like salt and paprika
Yeah.
into bigger bowls is the most satisfying
But
thing.
Yeah.
why? Is there any? There's
It's
no.
like
I guess
ASMR.
it's it is. I don't know. It's just like watching this process that's like I don't know. These people are like I don't know. This might just be me, but like just like watching this process, like they know what they're doing. It's just like they're going through this routine, and like I don't know. Maybe it translates for bands where like we have that same like routine
It's
you do every day,
yeah.
and you just watch it and then like get the finished product, and they're really happy about it, and you're like, whoa. And then you look at it and you're like, wow. And then you're always like, would you eat that? I'd eat that. I don't know. Would you eat it? And then you always like order Domino's at that point because you
Yeah,
get so
'cause-
hungry,
You're hungry.
and it's 2 in the morning.
That makes sense.
But I don't know. It's really it is soothing.
I like
Even just
Antique
like
Roadshow. I
That's
think
a
that's
good
like a
one.
similar one. Like
Yeah.
some of those old.
I used to watch like Storage Wars.
Yeah.
But then I just got a little too like crazy and dramatic.
Like, I don't know, the cooking shows though specifically have like something on those other ones for me. Like I'm like, yeah, like I want to watch food be made. Like maybe because we're like constantly eating gas station trash.
Crap, yeah.
And like we're just like, wow, look
It
at
would
that
be
freaking
nice.
delicious meal right there.
Yeah.
Are we also too like when you're like they start to like because it's they go to different cities and like multiple cities. You're like, oh, they're in LA. Like let's see where they are. Maybe we'll have time and we
Yeah.
can go check out that place. So that's kind of fun too. Where you're like, oh shit, that was in Portland. We could have been there. Kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's pretty sweet. Well, being on tour now that the Diet Cig is a 2-piece, but on tour this is the first time that's a 4-piece, right?
Yeah.
correct.
So what prompted that decision?
I feel like we had toured the whole year, like after this record came out, 2017, with these songs, and we were kind of like feeling very comfortable with them, and like we weren't necessarily bored, but we weren't like challenging ourselves anymore. Like we knew, like we would change up the set list, we would do everything, but then just feel like we still knew these songs like in our sleep, and like it was just like not as like I don't know, we weren't like on our toes anymore, and we were like,
Is it boring?
it was
I wouldn't say it was
wasn't
boring. It just kind
boring.
of got like robotic. It was like I feel like we would play and I'd be like, oh, we're done, or like we're on the last song already. Just like
You
kind
just
of
go
like
in
just
autopilot
just
during it.
autopilot. And so
We were like, what can we
Yeah.
do to like get this to like the next level? Like
Yeah.
the songs like stand super well on their own, like as a 2-piece, but we were like, wouldn't it be fun to like incorporate 2 more people, like challenge ourselves, like relearn our songs to like be with these and like teach others the songs, and like I think that it's just like added this extra oomph that like we could never get like together after like playing together for so long. We were like, what can we add that will make this bigger and better? And like
yeah, and it's not
that
like
was-
we've changed the songs. We just like are playing it more
beefed
to
up.
like what the record is. Like we have synth now, and there's synth lines on the record. We have harmonies now, and it's
Yeah.
on the record, and like a bass player, which is like fun because playing drums, I would always wanted to play with
Yeah.
a bass player because
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
someone to kind of lock in with. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been really fun because it like doing these rehearsals before this tour, like with everybody, was kind of just like figuring out like, whoa, like I kind of like it was like we're listening to these songs again for the first time in a way because we listened to the record, we'd break them down, and you're kind of like, whoa, oh right, okay, cool. Like I remember what we were thinking there, like why did we write that? But like okay, cool. I don't know. It was fun. It kind of like. I don't know. It's like we started over again, but we didn't start over again.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
feel like I gained like a new appreciation for our songs. Like, you know, like when we were breaking down like the synth parts, I was like, oh, I forgot that synth part was there. Like that part's awesome. And like same with the harmonies. So,
So who is writing these when you're in the studio? Since Alex plays guitar and Noah plays drums, who's writing the synth parts and the bass parts and these other?
It's kind of a collaborative
Definitely,
thing. I like some songs like I did it or like Alex came up with. It was like pretty much like if something popped in your head, you just like you play it if you
Yeah.
wanted to, and like even our engineer Chris would like try to be like, oh, let's try this or something, and like I played bass on pretty much all of the record too. And
yeah, I feel like you always play bass, but like I would sometimes be like, but can you like do this thing? Like here, like go
Yeah.
like do 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 or something.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It kind
I
of
love that part of the song.
yeah.
favorite.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it is definitely like it's like
But
a
it's
lot
you
of
too.
different- It's just us
It's
two,
just
and,
us,
and
yeah.
then Chris, our
Multi-instrumentalist.
engineer, was like and producer Chris Daly's like he's like the secret third member that no one knows about. I feel like because he really helps us get
Every great
these
band has
songs.
one.
A secret.
Yeah, and he's just great to work with. He just I don't know. He gets stuff out of us that we don't even realize.
Or like
we
even
think.
I'm thinking even with like synth parts, like we would like write a synth part, but like not be able to like play it the way we want to because we're not really keys players. So like we had our friend Tyler come in and like play the physical part like on one of the songs, and like so it was the studio we were in. It was like people were always like it was people lived there as well. So it was like
what?
people were like in and out and hanging out.
It's kind of like, hey,
stuff.
what are you
So
doing? You want
if
to
we're,
like sing this like
hey, can
little
you
thing?
sing this
Yeah.
background vocal? Like
Yeah.
our Chris, our engineer and producer's sister, sang on some of it just because she was there, and we were like,
tight.
Zoe, like, come on. She's like, I don't sing. I'm like, you do today. Get in
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Well,
We-
that's
fun.
That's awesome. That's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just. It seems like a process that's much more like community based than
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
would
It's-
normally think.
it was super like organic. We were just like, okay, let's listen to this and like what pops in our head. Like everyone, like if you're here, like you can
Let's do
join
it.
in. Like
Yeah.
what you got?
We did like a big group vocal. That was fun on the end of Barf Day.
Yeah.
Like my parents came, like
What?
your mom and like your brother and sister
Yeah.
came, and like just friends from the like that were
Literally
around. And it
anyone
was
we
like
could
just
get.
filled the room up, and we were just like, this is the sheet. Let's just sing through it, and it was
Do it.
fun, and like
That's pretty
everyone
sweet.
just had a good time doing it. So it was
Who's
fun.
good? Is any of your parents really good at singing? Actually,
I feel like my mom thinks she is. Sorry, mom.
I feel like they are good at doing the job we needed them to, which was singing in a group.
Yeah, and it wasn't supposed to be like this like angelic thing.
No.
It was more of just like it's more to sound like a group of people, you know, and that's
Yeah.
what we got. It was good.
that makes sense. Well,
Yeah.
we talked about this a little before recording, but the idea of being like DIY
Mm-hmm.
in I think that label comes with the idea that there's no team behind you, there's no real community behind you. And we were talking about this before, so if you could even just reiterate if you even consider Diet Cig as like a DIY project at this point.
I think we have DIY roots, but we do have a team, so I don't think it's necessarily fair to say that we are DIY because there are a lot of people behind the scenes, like managers, agents, like label, like people like really helping us do what we do. But I think there's like an ethos to DIY that like still stays of like community building and like really like taking care of the people around you and like making sure people at shows are safe and like being friends with like the bands in your scene. Like I feel like these are all kind of things that like DIY kind of incorporates in it, but I don't think that we necessarily are like do it yourself because it's like we do it with a lot of people,
Yeah.
which is amazing because like it's cool. Like we came up like doing it all ourselves. We'd make our own merch. We would like I don't know, do everything,
everything,
like book
book our
our
own
own
shows,
tours.
Yeah.
So-
But
So why do you think pop punk or this type of music that y'all play has the DIY label over any a lot of these other genres? Why?
Maybe it's just kind of like where everyone kind of is coming from this DIY scene, like in this genre. Like everyone that like we're friends with now and bands coming up, like all kind of came from the same kind of background of like they played in this small scene or something in their city and like built a community and they all helped each other out to get to the next point. And it just happened to we're all playing kind of the same genre in a way, I guess.
like I feel like it stems from like I don't even know like Fugazi and stuff like punk history that I'm like don't even like know that much about, just like DIY stemming from like house shows and like community building and like kind of like being punk and like counterculture and all this stuff, and it's kind of grown into this thing now where it's like inclusive and it's like even if you don't have like a studio or like an agent or whatever, like you can still like punk is accessible, but in a way that like I think a lot of other genres like aren't so readily accessible maybe, and like with punk you can only know like 3 chords and like play a house show and you're good. Like that's what we
Yeah.
did. Like
Yeah.
I knew like
Yeah.
3 or 4 chords and we played our first show in someone's basement and all of a sudden we were a band. And like
That's all it takes.
yeah, and so I think that I don't know, something about like the like indie rock pop punk kind of thing is like I don't know, it's easy to start like DIY because it's fun. You just do it yourself for fun and like there's less rules.
Yeah. Do you feel like the accessibility of the internet, just how it's changed in the last few years? I mean, it's easily recognizable in all types of music, that especially like electronic music and things like that. If you have a laptop, you're good and you can
Yeah.
become the biggest thing in the world. Do you feel
Right.
like it really aided Diet Cig's, path?
I definitely think social media helped us a lot. Like Alex is really good at it. Like it's not me. So everyone asks, it's not me on social media. I'm not good at it at all. I
not an
forget
emoji guy.
No, I forget I have an Instagram all the time. But no, it's just like I don't know, having, and like Alex tweeting all the time, and like having like more of a personal how would you like interaction and relationship with people, like, you know, we'll respond, we'll have a conversation, like you can reach out to us and like we'll try our best to like respond, kind of a thing. And like, you know, we're just trying to like remind people that we are like people too, and like that we're not just like this like, you know, mannequin on stage and there's a wall there, and kind of like, but social media kind of like helps like connect us with everybody. And so like there's like people that come to shows are like, oh, we met on Twitter, my handle is blah blah blah, and you're like, oh yeah, blah
like
blah.
Every
like,
show, like I tweeted at you, this is my Twitter. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Or like even like I don't even think that anyone would hear our music if the internet wasn't a thing.
That's what I was
Like-
a little more curious about, is like Bandcamp and some of these platforms online that it's easy to like fall into this, you know, this wormhole of finding all these new bands and stuff like that.
Well, I think honestly, even like with like the smaller blogs and stuff, like Gold Flake Paint, and like I don't know, there's so many good ones, but like just championing like new upcoming music, like in a way that like big record stores or like the radio like doesn't do. Like even college radio is only picking up stuff that's like currently like on a higher level than like a new band. And so like I think when we started, like we had the support of Father Daughter Records, but like, you know, we did a digital release with them with a cassette, and like being able to like have our music spread on the internet, like people streaming our songs was like really like so crucial to us even like being a band.
Yeah, that just seems like it really did aid you all in so many of the peer bands that are in the same scene, which is cool. And
it also helps like build community in this way that like if we didn't have the internet, like we have so many friends from like different parts of the country, like bands that we're friends with on the internet that we've never even met, that like we can feel like we're like a part of this community, or that kind of like the DIY thing kind of circles back in a way of like the DIY ethos of just like, you know, community building and like supporting each other and like just having each other's backs is like really enabled like via the internet, which is cool. Like we see our friends from like California like releasing a single, and like we can like tweet about it and be like, yo, listen to this, because like we have followers that would like that, and like vice versa. And so it's like really cool to be able to like be a part of that community that like I think is kind of exclusive to the internet sometimes.
Yeah. You're just like spreading your network.
Yeah.
Like Facebook, right?
Yeah.
But as of now, you are both full-time musicians, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. No other jobs. Well, congrats.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's weird.
So now that you are in that realm and you've been touring for so long, what do you feel is like the biggest misconception that your fans might not understand? Like, what's the most frustrating part about being a full-time touring musician that most people probably wouldn't get?
I think the one thing, especially because of like even on this tour, is like I just don't think people realize how hard it is to sit in a van all day and drive all day and like get like 3 hours of sleep and like go and like put on, like we have a very like high energy show, and it's like the last thing we want to do is, I mean, like what we want to do is play the show and have a good, like a really energetic thing, but like we like are sitting there like we've slept for 2 hours, we haven't eaten, like I haven't eaten today, and we're here right now, and like we got to play a show in a couple,
sorry.
which
I'm
is
sorry.
fine.
I'm sorry,
No,
Rob,
it's
to do
okay.
this.
But it's like
We're
I
used
feel
to
like
it.
sometimes like I get like kind of annoyed when you hear like, you know, someone might tweet or like someone say like, oh, I'm like just like feeling really tired, and like they have all the right to, like I don't think I'm gonna make it to the show kind of thing, and I'm like, you live in the city and like you could just, it's like 10 minutes away, like why is it so hard? Like we just like traveled all this way and are exhausted, but we're still gonna come out and do the thing. But like it's not that, it's like I don't know, it's like it's not that big of a deal, but sometimes I hear that, I'm like, I just feel like some people don't realize like how much like other stuff around the show. It's like they only see us for 45 minutes, but there's so much like for sound check and loading in and loading out and like dealing with the van and all that stuff. Like there's so many other things I feel like people like don't see it all the time. But I don't know.
I agree with you in the way that like I think it's a misconception that like it's like all fun and party all the time, and like for the most part we're just like trying in any way to take care of our bodies.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, I feel like if someone's like tired or whatever, like that's fine, don't come to the show, like we will be back, and like come when you feel good. But I do think that like our just like the days get really long and it's really intense. It's not like necessarily fun party all the time. And I think some bands can do that and like survive, and I don't know how they do it, but like kudos to them.
Yeah.
But like a lot of our thing is like we, you know, are on a schedule, and it's like going to work, and it's like the most fun job in the world, but it's still like we need like everyone on our team to be like professional and like feel like we're like working a job, because like at the end of the day like we are all trying to do the same thing, but like it's not as like lit as like maybe it may seem.
Like we're watching Triple D in our hotel.
That's
like
it,
we're
on
not
2
like
a.m.
out at the bar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's the what are some of your like tips or tricks to staying healthy? Not, I mean, because you all are road dogs. You guys are on the tour. You guys are on the road. Probably more than any band, it seems like. At least the past couple years.
It feels like we've
you
been on the road a
you're
lot.
constantly touring, which is
Yeah.
amazing. But what are some of your tips and tricks to staying
healthy
or sane? Or
Yeah. I think drink a lot of water, stay hydrated,
gosh,
because
yeah.
like it's so easy to just like with different like altitudes and climates, like playing in like Denver, it's like or Colorado, like you like are gonna pass out if you don't drink any water. Like it's like you get so winded, and also like truck stops. If you're gonna stop
Yeah,
anywhere,
the
stop
truck
at a
stops
truck
are
stop.
clutch.
They have the nicest bathrooms. They usually have like kind of like a healthier like refrigerator thing where you get like cheese sticks and yogurts and stuff, so you don't have to eat like Chex Mix and like Doritos. Kind of thing.
Is that the go-to snacks right now? Is Chex Mix Doritos?
We try not to.
Try not to.
I do like myself some Chex Mix, but I don't know. I think
Headphones too. Bring your own headphones, because like sometimes in the van it's like everyone wants to listen to something else, and like sometimes like Carly's really good at it, who's touring with us to play keys. Like she'll just kind of like throw her headphones on. And,
she
like,
listened to
it's
Travis
great.
Scott for like 8 hours the other day. He does not have 8 hours worth of music. She was like, got out of the van. She was like, I feel really weird. I just listened to Travis Scott for like 8 hours.
Yeah.
You know, he holds the record for the most amount of times one song was performed at a concert.
How many times
He
did
did Goosebumps 14 times.
What?
Yeah, there's a video
Weird.
of it. He did it. It was like the thing. He was like,
Wow.
all right, tonight's the night. We're going to break the world record. Everybody that's coming to the show, we're going to do it. So
Cool.
we're
Oh,
ready,
wow.
but
Damn.
14 times. Yeah.
That's
That's
a lot of
amazing.
time.
You all should beat it.
Yeah,
15
we should
times
do it.
Do
tonight.
it. Play
Which one could you
Harvard,
do?
I'll play Harvard
15
like 15
times and
times.
then probably still play the rest of our songs.
I was going to
'cause
say,
it's so
shorter,
short.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
short song.
Yeah.
Knock it out.
Yeah.
I think my tip would just be allotting time for restroom stops so that you can drink water, because I feel like a lot of folks are like, oh, I don't drink a lot of water on tour because I want to just pee all the time. And it's like, no, pee all the time. Like stop the car and go pee. Like,
You're supposed
Yeah.
to do.
seriously, like I feel like everyone's always like, oh, Alex has to pee again, but I'm like, we allot like an extra hour into our drive for stops just because it's like I want to stay hydrated. We all should be staying hydrated. I think that's like the most clutch thing. Like I literally feel like a husk of a woman if I don't drink enough water.
Yeah.
People underrate how much water you're supposed to be drinking. They say it's
Yeah.
like half your body weight, but in ounces. So
Yeah.
if you weigh
Like, yeah.
200 pounds, you're supposed to drink 100 ounces of water a day.
That's
Damn.
That seems like a
wild.
lot.
That's
that seems
a
like a
lot.
lot, but
I'm down though.
I'm down.
Yeah,
with this.
I'll do
just
it.
gotta-
I feel
just
like
gotta
definitely don't get
hydro
anywhere
flask.
close to that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I
we
try.
don't have a ton of time, so let's move
That's
on
okay.
to some of these. We call it personal. It's just a bunch of random questions that hopefully you've never been asked before
Okay.
in an interview, but you all do a lot of interviews, so probably. Who's the most famous person in your cell phone?
In my cell phone.
I actually have Angel Olsen's number in my
What?
phone still, which is a weird thing. And like, cause we just like, I worked a show that like a venue that she was playing at. And then like, I also was going to school at Purchase College, and like, it just randomly, I was working that too. And like 2 days in a row, I was working her show and I didn't realize it. And we were like, oh, and we kind of like, I don't even remember what happened. I think I like offered like, if you needed a place to stay, like here's my number kind of a thing, like in your bank and stay there or whatever. And like, I had her number, and then I never even talked to her again. I think I've run into her before, like years later, and I don't even remember if like we remember who each other are. But it was like
You remember who she is.
I remember
You
who
know,
she is.
yeah.
I mean, like I mean, like we didn't like
One-sided big
on that basis of like, oh yeah, I'm this person, blah blah. Blah. It was like kind of this weird thing that like I think that's the most favorite person I have on my phone.
I legit like met my first celebrity like this year, so I really don't know
was it?
them. Emma Watson.
Oh,
Have
yes.
You met
her?
Emma Watson?
We did, yeah, we did.
We got
yeah.
drinks with her.
What?
It's a long story.
We don't have to go into it.
But she's
That was
really
random.
cool and
Do you have her
sweet.
number?
I
did not
don't,
get
which
her
is what I was
number.
gonna say. That's close, but I have Lucy Dacus's number.
That's
She's
cool.
our
She's
friend
from-
from
yes.
Richmond.
Yeah.
She's probably the most famous, which is not saying much for my famous friends,
I mean, that's
but
badass. That's
she's
knowing.
cool as hell. She's famous in my heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's pretty great. What is the importance? This is more for Alex. What is the importance of the CSB building?
I don't know what the CSB building is.
Where did you go to college?
Oh my god, in New Paltz is CSB? Oh my god, I literally never went to class. This is like that. Yo, the
is the
CSB
CSB?
was like the building that all of like the classes I took were in, and it sucked. It was the worst. It was like
It's
this,
just literally just the building that all your.
I'm pretty sure that
That's
was the
it?
CSB. How did you know that? Sneaky, sneaky.
gotta know.
The CSB was the my god, because my
that the
major
really tall
was
building?
digital. No,
Was it
it was
not that one?
it was an ugly one that didn't look like anything.
Oh,
it was
okay.
the one that I'm pretty sure all of my communications class was in, and it was like science above and like digital communication stuff below, and I would have to go in the basement in there and like edit video for like I feel like I'm like literally
You're
like getting flashbacks from like being in the basement of the fucking CSB and like oh my god.
But look at you now.
Yeah, and I would edit videos like all night long, like these horrible videos of my friends playing music, and like I hope no one finds them on the internet, but I would just be down there for hours and hours and hours. It was like I liked it at the time,
Okay.
but it was like a very horrible building, so ugly, so like institutionally, like it was bad. But
College.
yeah. God,
College,
you really caught me off
What do you
guard
mean?
on the freaking CSB. Dang.
It's State University of New York.
Yeah.
Am I saying it right? State
SUNY.
University. Okay,
Yeah.
SUNY. So SUNY actually has a bunch of famous alumni, including the owner of the New York Knicks, James Dolan,
Okay.
Fabrizio from The Strokes, the drummer of The Strokes,
Yeah.
and then Vinny from the Jersey Shore.
Is this
yeah.
SUNY New Paltz or just
Just
SUNY?
any SUNY school.
I don't
There's
know.
a lot of
'Cause it's all
SUNY
SUNY's
schools.
big.
SUNY of New York. That's it.
SUNY is
Okay,
like
so
Wikipedia.
SUNY has, like,
I just went on Wikipedia.
yeah, there's like
30
SUNY
schools?
Purchase where
What?
I went. There's SUNY New Paltz, SUNY Potsdam,
No, I think
SUNY.
it's
New Paltz?
specifically.
Vinny
New
from
Paltz?
Jersey
Really?
Shore went to
Well,
New
maybe
Paltz?
not then. Now
Maybe
I'm,
no. I don't know. I
I'm
hope
thinking it.
so.
Anyways, we're gonna treat it as if.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
if you had to switch careers with one of those three people, so Fabrizio from The Strokes, James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks, or Vinny from Jersey Shore, who would you switch with?
Vinny, for sure. He's the best one. He's so
Easy?
nice. He's like literally
He was
like
the
the
nice
chillest one.
I would do the Knicks because they need to get their act together. That's what I'm saying.
Season's down. It's going
It's been
downhill.
down. It's
Yeah,
been
it's-
down for years.
Who the hell is Fabrizio though?
I don't know. Maybe I'm even saying it wrong. He's the drummer from The Strokes.
Oh, I didn't know he's the drummer. I do like the Strokes a lot.
Oh.
I don't think I'd want to drum for them. I think I'd be a bad fit. But they were like
Yeah.
the band that I grew up like. It was my first favorite like alt rock
Oh.
band after like really liking like Fall Out Boy and like MCR.
Yeah.
I like found the Strokes on like the alt radio station, and I was
Yeah.
like, these guys are awesome.
Yeah. I wasn't a big Strokes fan. They're fine. I just I wouldn't want to play.
So you wouldn't want to be in it.
No,
Okay.
I don't want to be in it.
That makes sense. Let's see. We'll go one more question. This is one that we ask all of our guests. Have you heard the theory of Avril Lavigne being dead or alive?
Yes. Oh, we talk about it all the time. Oh yeah, she's dead.
totally
She's got a
dead.
double.
She's totally
You
She's
are
got
the
a double.
first guest. No, you're the second guest to actually know what it is. So what are your
What?
thoughts on
Who's
it?
the other person?
They need to hop on the
Producer
dang
named Chet
internet.
Porter. He's
Okay.
like Odessa kind of, but he was like, I've absolutely heard of that. and
Oh,
I
it's
totally
so
believe
true.
that.
Yeah.
You believe it?
Why?
Oh my god! It's
I
like
mean,
she flipped,
either
completely flipped.
So is
she-
your reasoning because the music is so different?
Yeah, like
Even
you can
just the
like
way her
literally
attitude is,
see
yeah.
like the mark, like a wall was built between her previous self and her current self. Like it's so bizarre. Like she was so punk and so cool, and then all of a sudden was like, I'm gonna appropriate like Japanese kawaii stuff and like whatever, and
And
like
then
be,
marry
like,
the Nickelback guy and like
Yeah.
That
And
threw me off.
She was with someone else before it too. It was the dude from
Good
some
Charlotte
band.
or
I forget what it
It
Somebody
was.
wasn't
or
Pete
some-
once. That was Ashley Simpson. Right?
No,
Yeah.
that was Ashley
Okay.
Simpson. Yeah.
What happened to her though? Honestly, where did she go?
Pieces of Me is still a smash. That's a huge
LOVE.
song.
I knew that one.
That's a huge song. Yeah,
is.
but y'all believe it. Okay.
Oh yeah, we like
Yeah.
conspiracies.
Any other conspiracy theories that you believe in?
All of them.
All of them. I think that
mean-
mermaids are real, but they give me a hard time about that.
Really?
There's so much ocean that we've never
That's
explored,
true,
and
but,
it's
like-
so deep. And you know that like they're smart. They're
Yeah.
still alive. They're smart. They're smarter than we are.
What about Paul McCartney being dead? Have you heard that one yet?
No, but
I
I,
don't really
have to
care.
be honest. I don't care about Paul.
Really?
I don't.
I
I'm
don't-
like a big Beatles, like whatever.
Not that good.
I
I
won't. I
care.
won't call myself a hater because like if
Yeah.
you throw them on, they're fine. But like the obsession with the Beatles, I'm like
Greatest band of all
past
time.
me.
Yeah, I feel the same
like,
way.
Swerve on
Really?
that, sir.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't know. You've heard it before. They're there. They did good things. It's cool. They did
If
bad
Paul
things.
was dead,
You be alright with that?
God save
He
his
did his
soul.
thing. Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, I wish him good health. You know, but
Well, he's
that's-
dead, so
Yeah.
I think Marilyn Monroe is alive.
yeah.
I think I was reading about her recently. I was like up at 3 a.m. in a Wikipedia hole, like
After
about like her
drivers,
death.
drive-ins.
Yeah, after
Triple D at 2
D,
a.m.
when it switched to be Bobby Flay. I like that show
I
too.
will not support this man. I need to get off.
He's beating people with their own recipes. It's really sad.
It's really mean.
Anyway, I was looking it up, and like she, like her depression was fueled by like not wanting to be in the public eye, and like how she like had to be this different version of herself and all this stuff, and like how I don't know, like her killing herself. Like there was a lot of like weird things about like how they found her and how it seemed staged or something. I think she's alive and just like chilling like off in the Bahamas.
What's
or
that
something.
that
Be bad.
podcast that The Rock produces now?
What really happened?
This
What
one.
really happened?
This is the one.
Yeah,
Podcast. The
producing.
Rock
Is
our
Dwayne
executive
Johnson
producer.
here? Oh,
He's
we
the
don't-
one that couldn't come because he threw out his back. Yeah,
Oh,
he's the
makes
one.
sense.
I
He's
forgot to
always
say his
doing
name.
some-
Dwayne.
Some
Yeah.
big stunts.
I call him D. You know.
Go D.
We're close. We're close.
My
DJ.
pal.
Yeah, what was the one conspiracy on that? Have you heard of that show?
no, I haven't heard of
what
it.
really
There's a
happened?
lot of
There's a
podcasts
good-
out
and there's a
there.
couple
There's a
like
lot.
good ones of like the Muhammad Ali one or the Michael Jordan one.
Where
Where
I
he's
know
like,
that one.
Like all the money thing.
Yeah, he had an insane gambling problem.
Yeah.
So
And he had like a
oh my
deal with
gosh,
like a
wow.
coke like
We think
dealer.
he's
David
on.
I
Stern.
think the thing is, yeah, I think that Michael Jordan was just really cooked out all the time. He never
Well-
slept. He was I don't know.
I know that he was. I know he was crazy about like he would stay up all night gambling and then
Yeah.
like.
But he
go to
had a bad
practice
deal.
really
He had
early.
a bad deal with a dealer. That was
Coke
in
dealer,
this
and that was
conspiracy that they
the-
go into. And I don't know. Maybe I'm not. I like Michael Jordan. I'm a basketball fan.
This is alleged from our
Legend
imagination.
from like just from listening to the thing. And maybe I'll listen to it again. And anyone else listen to it, I'll have a conversation about it. Totally cool. But I don't know. It's like you listen to it and you're like, I'll start connecting the dots. You're like, maybe he just like was just really just hyped up all the time. That's why he was just so like
Competitive and
and good.
crazy.
He never slept because he just was like maybe taking a little bit.
Yo,
of stuff.
something else that is wild that is not conspiracy driven, but Lance Armstrong doping. Oh my gosh,
years ago.
I
I refuse
also
to believe it,
got
even though he
into
admitted it,
a
right?
Wikipedia hole about that.
Do you
2
believe
days
that he
ago.
did though?
Gosh.
Oh no, he definitely was.
Did he admit to it?
Yeah,
He
he
meant,
totally
but
on
it wasn't
Oprah.
his
It was the
defense
whole
that
thing.
like everyone
Everyone
else was doing it too, so it wasn't like he felt like he was doing anything wrong.
He was
But,
like unremorseful, just did not give a shit. He literally was pretty much just like, I'm mad I got caught because everyone was doing
Everyone?
it, and
Yeah.
like
Come
I
on,
had
man.
That's
cancer.
like
and-
when you like go to like the party when you're in high school, but like you're the one that gets in trouble.
That was
when
always
you're-
me.
It's like what?
I was a good friend. Like I would get caught at the party. Everyone's drinking. Like 17 years old, whatever. I would get caught. My mom would catch me or whatever. And she's the kind of mom who would probably be like, "I'm gonna call the other moms or whatever." So I was like, it was just me. I was drinking alone, but everyone else was hanging out. Because I
take the
didn't want
hit.
to throw them under the bus. But then all the parents were like, "This girl is the one who's drinking alone at our house,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "It's."
If you really knew your own child.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I really took a lot of bullets for those losers.
Man,
No, just kidding.
This is exactly how I thought we'd end the interview too.
Yeah.
Like, venting about getting caught drinking when you're 17 years old.
I just feel like Lance.
That's you. That's
Like, Lance.
It's so hard. It's hard.
that'll
I
be
feel
on your
Yeah, stop
tombstone.
doping.
That'll be it.
I feel like Lance.
I feel like Lance. Yeah, that's a good one. Well, that feels like the perfect time to end this great interview. Thank y'all
Yeah.
so much for
Yeah,
sitting
Yeah,
down
thank
with
thank
us.
you. This is fun.
Good luck on the rest of the tour, and
Yeah,
yeah,
thanks.
stay healthy.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll drink a lot of water.
Do it.
And that was the Diet Cig interview with not me and Evan.
Best interview yet. I think we can all firmly say that now. If you think that it was the best interview yet, go ahead and leave us a 5-star rating saying, best interview yet. Evan, you sounded like, damn it, I can't think of anyone with a good voice right now.
Yep, exactly. Because you didn't have a good voice.
Best interview yet.
But if you don't agree with that, leave a 5-star review, subscribe, and resubscribe. Tell all your friends about it.
All of your friends.
So they can let us know if they thought it was the best or not.
For real, if you leave a rating for us, 5-star rating in the next, up until our next episode, and we'll shout you out and anything you say in there. Yeah, so leave a 5-star rating. We'll be back in a week or so for the next episode with
A
very fun
Wisconsin
person
native.
from Wisconsin, producer Melv. He's on tour right now with Hippie Sabotage. Big dude, he's doing great. He's really on the rise right now. So
Yeah.
we were glad to sit down with him. Awesome interview. Again, tell all your friends we need to grow this podcast bigger so all these people can become our friends. It's going to be great. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, y'all. Love y'all.
Love you.